Welcome to Hanging with Gary. And we're back. Johnny D.
We're back.
Hanging with Gary. Yours truly, Gary Hobbs. Johnny D. Johnny Davila. We're in Eagle Pass, Texas. This is episode 6 of our 3rd season on Hanging with Gary. Listen in on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, GaryHobbs.com. And other outlets coming really soon.
Yes. Moving on.
Moving on. How was your weekend, Johnny D?
Great weekend. Had some gigs. Of course, I'm doing the Thursday, Friday, and Saturday at the Azul there at the casino. And
You know, you're promoting yourself on my show, right? But that's okay. At Azul restaurant, right? Inside the Kickapoo Lucky Eagle Casino, Smooth Sax.
Yes, sir.
I got to go out, check you out. And it's a nice place. I just haven't been there.
Yes, pretty nice.
And y'all did the backyard, no?
Yes, we did the backyard.
Dale Play.
Dale Play. Show band.
Show band.
It was pretty good.
Send a shout out to your members.
Oh, yes. I want to send a shout out to Annie.
You're going to forget somebody
To
just
Alejandra.
Okay. Annie,
Javier.
Alejandra, Javier,
Martin.
Gil,
Leo.
Leo,
Ricky. And Miguel.
and Miguel.
We're 9.
Gil Barrientos.
Gil Barrientos, yes.
He's from the hot sauce fame. No, he's really from Chicano Breed.
Chicano Breed.
Yes, that's the first band I ever played with. I was 13 years old, 14, playing trumpet, and Gil Barrientos was there. So I've known Gil and La Familia Barrientos. Big shout out. Of course, hermano mayor de Juan Barrientos, the John Barrientos, and their younger brother, Jaime Barrientos, dear friend, investor in us, helped us out throughout many times in the 80s, and we appreciate always the Barrientos family. You know, Dale Play.
Dale Play.
Wow, y'all have been doing really good.
Yes.
Played with Marcos, right?
Yes,
Backyard?
we opened up for Marcos Orozco, and we've been waiting for this gig.
Let me guess. Let me
postponed.
guess. They asked you to finish a little bit earlier your set with Marcos. I know Marcos. I put you on the spot.
You did. But yeah.
Hey, that used to happen to me in the 80s all the time. I used to open up for the Grupo Menos, and they'd get me off earlier than usual. Like, I wonder why. But that's good.
It's all right. We did good. So.
No, good comments. Yes. So that's always good. Us, Johnny D, well, we were in Austin, Texas last Friday at the OK Corral. Big shout out to a lot of people that showed up. It wasn't our regular crowd, Johnny. That's just the cold hard facts, como you said, Toby Keith. But Maria Vega and Stella Huerta, all dear friends of mine, Francis Herrera and Trini Fabian, party. Cruisers, Tejano Cruisers, they were in the house. The problem that night, Johnny, was that we were up against ACL Music Fest. That is the Austin City Limits Music Festival. My God, 3 days of, 6-7 stages each night.
Wow.
And a variety of music. But so we were missing some friends. There's just no doubt about it. But those people that were there, man, they were dancing Tejano since the first song. And so it's always a great Tejano venue for us. And shout out to everybody at OK Corral, Austin, Texas. We were there last Friday. Las gracias. And Saturday, we were in Amarillo, Texas. Let me tell you, that was a ride. I just haven't had that kind of a drive right after a show and all the way to Amarillo. But that turned into like 8 hours or something, and that's 8 hours back. But Amarillo, Texas, we were celebrating with Maria Escoto, her retirement party. She happens to be related to some dear friends of ours, Tim and Monica Edwards, La Familia Edwards. And big shout out to them. It's a nice retirement party, and had a good time. Gracias, Familia Edwards. And then 8 hours back, Johnny, 8 hours. And I was in Amarillo. I didn't get to look up a dear friend of mine, Bert Suniga, Bert in the city. And here's dear sister Mary Jane. Mary Jane, I'm in love with Mary Jane. Yeah, I always sing that to her, right? But Bert is old friend of ours, promoter, but he's in radio. So many years, always played our music. I didn't get to see them, but a big shout out to them. So we did Austin, we did Amarillo, and man, it just felt like we did 4 or 5 days in a row on the road, and must be a sign of old age. SOA syndrome, SOA, sign of old age. Hey, you're listening to Hanging with Gary, Johnny D in the house, Gary Hobbs, no little D tonight. We're coming up on our first segment of the night. We'll be right back.
We're back, hanging with Gary. This is Johnny D, and this is Gary Hobbs.
Thank you, Johnny D. Thank you, Johnny D. Welcome back to Hanging with Gary. On our new short and sweet segment, man, we opened up a can of worms last week. Short and sweet segment. I had somebody told me, Gary, when you're on stage, you look like serious, like a heart attack. And in a podcast, you kind of open. Well, yeah, because we're not in front of people and we're not in front of the cameras. But we got to let our listeners know that today you showed up really nice and dressed up and
it's because I thought
looking
we were
spiffy.
I thought we were doing camera already. Johnny,
yeah, I know.
That's because you said, Johnny, te traes la camera.
Yeah, but the camera's for the.
For something else.
But you're well dressed tonight, John.
Well,
you look great. And so,
Dale play.
On our short and sweet segment last week, we opened up a can of worms of things, and I think we're gonna open up some new can of worms tonight on this short and sweet segment. Okay, so this is good. How do they say that in English? Good fodder, FODDER. Good fodder. I've heard that said. Well, Google it next time. But on this segment, okay, so there's a really nice song out. It's tough. I heard it, and I really liked it. That's just my opinion. Tejano Music, family and friends. But it's No Me Hablen de Amor, Pepe Aguilar and Intocable. And it is tough, and, well, you can't say enough things about how Pepe Aguilar sings. He's phenomenal. And so is Ricky, right? Ricky Munoz. And the song se llama No Me Hablen de Amor. But I hear it and I love it. But here it goes. Here goes the can of worms. It really doesn't belong on Tejano radio hit lists. And so that now there's some radio hit lists that are charting it. It's brand new. It's great music. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it is great music. But in my heart of hearts, in this 39 and a half years of Tejano music experience, times are changing, Johnny. And I welcome change. I've said it before. But, I mean, someone like me at my age, if I can't hang with the young guns, and plus people wouldn't be hiring us. I don't care if they're retirement parties or quinceañeras for the parents and grandparents side of the quinceañera, or weddings. I mean, we do our music, and sometimes we're a victim of our circumstances, of our own small success. Yeah. Because they do want to hear those 5, 6, 7 songs, 8 songs, 10 songs. But times have changed so much that now on Tejano radio, and there's no stopping it, John. It's just like that. It's just like that open borders right now, brother. Can't stop it. But No Me Hablen de Amor, I heard it, and Pepe Aguilar and Intocable nailed it, man. They did a great job on it. And so I support it. I usually don't listen to norteño stuff like that. And when I do, there's very select stuff that I listen to. I'll listen to an Intocable, and especially Duelo. And I consider Signo, they'll call themselves rockteño, and I like some of their music for sure. So with this new song, No Me Hablen de Amor, I like it. But there it goes on this short and sweet segment that does it belong on Tejano radio hit lists? I don't know what our listeners are going to answer or say about it, but there goes Johnny. You're on the hot seat. What's your take on that?
My take on it is
well, enough of your head. And then I don't want to put you on the spot.
Well, I mean, you're right. It doesn't belong in a Tejano hit list.
That's damn right. But
maybe if it's a most wanted song or most selected song or requested music, most requested music. Okay, then.
But what I think where that comes from is that as Tejanos, we were raised listening to all types of music.
Yes.
I mean, I listened to pop music before I listened to, it was Chicano back then, right? And then they called it Tejano, and I've said this so many times, I don't know what they're going to call it next. And people from media have asked me, what is Tejano music to you, Gary? And I don't know anymore. I don't. I just call it good music. All these bands and colleagues, some of them are good friends of mine, some of them, they're haters, but we're in the same industry, the same genre. And so I support anything that's good for Tejano music is good for us. But again, this is a tough song. It's a nice song. When I mean tough, I mean it's nice. And man, vocally and how they kind of intertwined and stuff like that. And hearing Pepe Aguilar sing that, I mean, he nailed it. He nailed it. I mean, I've heard him sing a little bit of rock pop stuff, ¿verdad? And I thought it was okay. But he does his mariachi stuff, and he is who he is. My God, you're talking Pepe Aguilar, right? But on this norteño song, he nailed it. But again, going out on a limb on this short and sweet segment is that I don't think it belongs on Tejano radio. But man, I have mixed feelings about that. I mean, I want to enjoy the song, and at the same time, I want to break this Neumann U87 mic, and because it's to me, it's something that doesn't belong on Tejano radio. And so before somebody says, but Gary Hobbs, he's a hater and he's a has-been, and he, and he's on the back end of a career. No, it has nothing to do with that. I mean, if our young bands, Tejano bands that are coming up, excuse me, they have keyboards or they don't. That's another problem that they say about me. But con acordeón, bajo sexto, or electric guitar. But now if they have to compete with norteño bands for our radio space, my question is, will those young bands that think we're haters, will you have a career that can span 39, 40 years? Because if you don't have that support from the audience, and guess what? The audience is only going to hear it when you hear it through the media, whether it's YouTube or whether it's Spotify, whether it's FM radio or internet radio. But if they're mixing the two genres, good luck on that, brother. Good luck on that young lady or young man, young band, because if you don't fight for our genre, nobody's going to fight for you. Nobody.
It's true.
Corporate America and everybody else is going to go with the numbers. So if we don't have no numbers, I've always told some promoters that promote us or new clubs, and I understand what they're saying, Johnny. But when they say at the tail end of their promo flyers or videos or stuff, and they say keeping Tejano music alive, man, that hits me like between the chestnuts roasting on my. Okay, that hits me between the eyes when I hear Tejano music, keeping Tejano music alive. Like we're on a pulsating last breath or something on, what do they call that? Life support or something. Or you should not have come back, Obi-Wan. That is like, again, that's I'd like to remind our audience that these are solely my opinions on the Hanging with Gary podcast. And it's not hating, it's just that I feel like it doesn't belong in our Tejano hit list, right? But this is our short and sweet segment. Sarcastically, it's not short and it's not sweet, but our short and sweet segment here on Hanging with Gary. We'll be right back. Johnny D, Gary Hobbs, Hanging with Gary. You're listening to Hanging with Gary on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, YouTube, or GaryHobbs.com. You know, Johnny, on that short and sweet segment, people are going to think that we're haters. We're haters. It's not true. On today's Tejano segment, we want to bring you that song by Pepe Aguilar and Intocable. No me hablen de amor. No me hablen de amor. Now, personally, the music, I'm going to give it an A+. An A+, Johnny. But the video, the video that I saw, I'm going to have to give it an A-.
Yes. I didn't see a lot of effort in there.
Well, with their kind of money, they should have blown it off the roof.
Yes, definitely.
But it is good, though. It's an A-.
Yes. But
the music's A+. So those of you who think that we're haters, we're not haters. We're trying to make a point here that this is a great song. Pepe Aguilar and Intocable. You judge it for yourself. This is No me hablen de amor.
Hablar de lo que nunca sentí. Ay, sí, ni cómo ayudarles. A mí pregúntenme de pena y dolor. Ay, si pudiera contarles. Porque nunca corrí con suerte. Nadie me quiso bien, no que yo recuerde. A mí no me hablen de amor, que de eso yo no sé nada. Alguna vez lo intenté y me fue de la fregada. De mi boca no van a escuchar cosas muy positivas, pues si hablo hablaré de lo mal que me ha ido en la vida. A mí no me hablen de amor, no estoy muy capacitado, les aseguro que yo soy el menos indicado. No es secreto que vengo sufriendo desde hace un buen tiempo. El amor es un tema complejo y yo no lo entiendo. Texas and Saca, Texas, my brother, así mero es. A mí no me hablen de amor, que de eso yo no sé nada. Alguna vez lo intenté y me fue de la fregada. De mi boca no van a escuchar cosas muy positivas, pues si hablo hablaré de lo mal que me ha ido en la vida. A mí no me hablen de amor, que no estoy capacitado, les aseguro que yo soy el menos indicado. No es secreto que vengo sufriendo desde hace un buen tiempo. El amor es un tema complejo y yo no lo entiendo.
That's Pepe Aguilar en Intocable. Ricky Munoz en Intocable. No me hablen de amor. It's a tough song, man. It's nice.
It's good.
I liked it. Both vocals and instrumentation. Again, A+ on the music, A- on the video. So in continuation, the short and sweet segment, no, this is our today's Tejano segment. Does it belong in Tejano? Well, everybody loves Pepe Aguilar, including us. Everybody loves Intocable, including us. But they're not Tejano. Hanging with Gary, we'll be right back.
And we're back again, hanging with Gary. This is Johnny D. And this is Gary Hobbs.
Thank you, Johnny D. Johnny Davila, Gary Hobbs. Hanging with Gary, we're in Eagle Pass, Texas. Today on our Gary Hobbs Throwback, way back, Throwback. There's a song off of the Maniac LP. It may have been a 45. It was not on 8-track. It was on an LP. Maniac. Hacienda Records. I want to say 1984. Give or take. But back then, Johnny, we weren't that disposal of a lot of songwriters. So we hadn't gone into the writing game. So we would look for material from Mexico. Especially love songs, because ballads and love songs, you can always turn them into Tejano and cumbias, or do your version of a ballad, right? But Los Ángeles Negros were huge.
I remember.
¿Cómo se llama el cantante? Germain or something like that? Yeah, something like that. He's a great singer. They had a song that they had recorded, and so we loved it and tried to do our version of it and try to do it justice. Pero, of course, we did it again in Tejano Ranchera. This is from the Maniac LP on Hacienda Records. Gary Hobbs. I have a black t-shirt that says Hot Sauce. Maniac. The following album, I wore a t-shirt that said, what this place needs is a few more Mexicans con huevos. But this is from the Maniac LP. This is Debut y Despedida.
Hasta el final de la canción, como si nada. Piensa que a tu lado hay un rencor que puede malinterpretar ciertas miradas. Soy un invitado de ocasión y no pretendo figurar en tu programa. Soy como lo fui siempre en tu vida, una noche de debut y despedida. Voy a contar la historia de un cantante que es del público mío, a la que fue su amante, y le contó sin que nadie supiera su propia decepción, su larga espera. Debo aclarar que no es la vida mía, que cualquier coincidencia es pura fantasía. Ya me olvidé de aquel cariño falso que me viene a pagar con un aplauso. Quédate sensado donde estás hasta el final de la canción, como si nada. Piensa que a tu lado hay un rencor que puede malinterpretar ciertas miradas. Soy buen invitado de ocasión y no pretendo figurar en tu programa. Soy como lo fui siempre en tu vida, una noche de debut y despedida. Sensado donde estás hasta el final de la canción, como si nada. Piensa que a tu lado hay un rencor que puede malinterpretar ciertas miradas. Soy un invitado de ocasión y no pretendo figurar en tu programa. Soy como la poesía en tu vida, una noche de debut y despedida. Soy como contrato que se archiva, una noche de debut y despedida.
Debut y despedida. Off of the Maniac LP, not 8-track, LP, Johnny D. 1984. Those are great years. Everything was new. We were learning, getting screwed everywhere, but it was okay. We were performing. We were on the road. We were.
Oh yeah.
But our version of Debut y Despedida, I guess they're calling it now old school, right? That's what they call it, old school.
Old school.
Where did the years go by, Johnny D?
Can't stop time.
You can't stop it. Gary Hobbs, Throwback, Tejano Music. Debut de Despedida. Yours truly, Gary Hobbs. You're listening to Hanging with Gary. We'll be right back. Before we leave, Johnny D, before we leave, hanging with Gary Hobbs, Johnny D. We are in Eagle Pass, Texas. Remind everybody you can visit us at Gary Hobbs Official on Facebook, Gary Hobbs Official on Twitter, Gary Hobbs Official on Instagram, and GaryHobbs.com. Don't look at the Twitter because there we make some remarks on things and we don't want to create more controversy. Right. This Friday, October 21st, we are back in San Angelo, Texas. San Angelo. Always a pleasure to be back in San Angelo. We're not there as often as we'd like, but we're at the Lone Wolf. The Lone Wolf. This Friday, October 21st. On Saturday, October 22nd, we're back in San Antonio, Texas at a private event. The Tejano Wedding Singer. The Tejano Wedding Singer, Gary Hobbs. Friday, October 28th, we're in Abilene, Texas. We're at the last stop. The last stop. That's right before you get to Oklahoma. Friday, October 28th, Abilene, Texas. Looking forward to it at the last stop. Now, Saturday, October 29th, we are in Corinth, Texas. Corinth, Texas. It's north, a little bit north of Fort Worth, I think, give or take. We are a private event. The Tejano Wedding Singer. We do weddings, quinceañeras. Yes, we do it all. Call us at 830-773-4270. Once again, 830-773-4270. Those infomercials, you listen to. Now, That's Saturday, October 29th. Now, Sunday, October 30th, we are in La Porte, Texas. La Porte, Texas, with our dear friend Tejano Loco, Ruben Peña. We are at Texas Snowbirds. Texas Snowbirds, looking forward to that one. Always a pleasure. That's Sunday, October 30th, La Porte, Texas, Texas Snowbirds. Now, we want to remind everybody to call, make your reservations, because New Year's Eve, we are at the Kickapoo Lucky Eagle Casino. Yeah! Kickapoo Lucky Eagle Casino inside the Que Pasa Lounge. It's the Gary Hobbs and Loose Change variety show. Just to remind everybody that we did that show last year. So we're adding a couple of new wrinkles. Gary Hobbs, friends. Johnny D's going to be there doing his thing. And we get visited by everybody. Bruno Mars, Tom Jones, Elvis, Bobby Brown came last year. Johnny did Bobby Brown. Yeah. It's my prerogative. Yeah. But it is 90% of nothing but a variety of music. Yes, we do a little bit of Tejano, ladies and gentlemen, yes. A little bit of our Tejano rancheras, a little bit of our cumbias, but the majority of the show is a variety show. That's what the Kickapoo Lucky Eagle Casino hired us to do. And when they pay the big bag,
oh yes,
big bag ballers like us.
This year I might have a surprise for you, Gary.
Really?
Yeah, I'm gonna do that. Gonna make a change.
Okay, MJ may make an appearance.
I don't know.
That's New Year's Eve. Kickapoo Lucky Eagle Casino. Call to make your reservations. That hotel is booked like every day, especially New Year's Eve. But once again, for New Year's Eve, Gary Hobbs, Loose Change, Usual Suspects, and the variety show, right? Once again, you're listening to Gary Hobbs, Johnny D on Hanging with Gary. You can listen in on Spotify, Apple Podcast, YouTube, and GaryHobbs.com. I want to thank everybody for their support. Johnny D and I, we do this on the fly. Once again, that's why our shows are Kaido and some are Super Kaido. But we do this because we love Tejano music, and I thank Johnny D for producing the show. And it's all about Gary Hobbs, and it's all about our opinions. It's our show. But we sure do want to thank everybody for the love and support. And we're on the road, and we have so many friends, and a lot more friends than haters. And we want to thank you and say we love you and God bless y'all. And we'll see you next week.
Later on.
Ciao. Welcome to Hanging with Gary.